Hey Eden, long time no see. I have a scary, scary story to tell you, and you may not like it. You may be scared to your core. Viewer discretion is advised. Here's the preface to the story before the event happened. I was at my grandma's house. Well, okay, I was often at my grandma's house because that's where my uncle lived, who was also my best friend growing up. My uncle is 4 years older than me, so there wasn't much of a difference, but there was, he was still older. So I trusted what he said. So my interpretation of what happened, it's not really reliable. Because he would tell stories really, really often. And often the stories would be linked to whatever adventure we'd be doing for the week, because I would go there every weekend. And so, yeah, he was a liar, but half the time it was contributing to these stories or this wider narrative that he was telling. And so one of these year-long narratives were that me and Jacob, who was my uncle, that we're assassins, and it's a secret. So one day, okay, that was easier to explain than I realized, but what happened is, okay, I actually drew a graph, or not a graph, a diagram, to easier explain what's happening. Actually, let me go turn on the light real quick. Okay. So, all right. Oh, I guess I can't turn around the camera while I'm recording. Okay. So, okay. Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Oh my gosh. Okay. So, this is kind of a diagram of the 12-acre property that was that. So, okay. There was a trail from... See, it's hard to explain even with the diagram, but it was, there's a gate down here, and that's how you got into the property. And then there was a hella trees. This is dirt, because it's a dirt kind of trail, and the trail leads to the woods area back here. And there was many shoot-offs in these woods that, we would sit on this pile of plywood, around here. And there was just different spots to go into the woods and climb and do whatever, and there was random stuff in the woods. So one day, while we're pretty deep in this trail, or not deep, because deep would be, back here. It wouldn't even be on the walking trail. We wouldn't even, whatever. And we're smoking, maybe, because I started smoking when I was 11. Oh shit! No, we weren't smoking yet. Okay. So we were just hanging out back here on a pallet or something, and then he gets really serious all of a sudden, and I go, I don't know. I go along with whatever he says because it's a part of it. Usually, it's a part of a fun adventure, a grand adventure. But it was a sudden seriousness that was unnerving. because he wasn't usually urgent. He was not an urgent person. And he said, while we were sitting on the plywood, he said, "We have to go." And I said, "What's happening?" And he said, "We have to go." So, or he said, "We have to go." So, from from over here, he sprints. So I sprint, and it's not that far, but it's a sprint, and the dirt trail leads all the way up to this door. And there's a glass door. And so, okay, here's the part where I kind of have trouble conveying to people. The So we get to this door, and I said, "What happened?" And he said, "We've been being followed." Or he said, "We're being followed." And I said, "No, we definitely were not being followed." And that's also not something he would lie about. He doesn't usually include other people in his lies. And I said, "What do you mean?" Or I was just confused as to what he was talking about. And I look out the glass window, and from here, you can see, or I see rocks landing right here, being thrown from the woods right here. And I just realized that I also had heard a noise before we left. I heard a kind of something landing, and then he said, "We have to go." And then I look back and I see that, and I never saw a person, and he was always lying about stuff along those lines about our enemies or what's the thing for the week, but and there was never anyone else in on the lie. So, and we didn't go outside for the rest of the day. So what was throwing rocks at us? Because he looked at me after he saw that I saw that there were rocks being thrown at us, and he looked at me as if to say, I told you that this was happening." I Because he also, I don't know if he had mentioned before, but he may have mentioned that he was being followed before. But I just assumed it was a part of the assassination thing. That was all a game. What was that? Well, I don't believe it was. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.